Ma'am, congratulations. History has been made. We hope it follows through. But where the timeline comes into question, what we are looking at is at least till 2029, because the clause in the bill says after delimitation. Before that, a census would need to take place, and it's only then the delimitation takes place, and only then can we even look at reservation. Political dynamics could change, but yet, well begun at least.
First of all, let me say congratulations to every woman in this country who's been raising their voice for the women's reservation bill. Because you're right, it finally gives some hope where women will be allowed to take part in the decision-making process. Not just a few selected women, regardless of their background, but women right from the grassroots upwards, especially at the assembly level. In the local languages, not always just in parliament, but also, as I said, in the various states that they represent or will be represented. I think what you're asking me is how long we think it will take for it to come into actual implementation. Once the bill passes this parliament, which it will, because it has been timed well to ensure that there is a majority for the BJP in both houses and it will be passed. After that, we have been told that they have to do the delimitation exercise and, of course, the census. As we all know, the census was delayed because of the COVID. There was no way it could have been done. I think it was June 2021, but it didn't happen because of COVID, it was delayed. I've also heard that it has been told that it should not take more than 2 to 3 years. Obviously, it's not going to come in before the 2024 elections, which would, of course, have been ideal. And all of us would have been extremely happy had it done so. But there is the I wouldn't say promise, but there is the assertion that this will be fast-tracked as much as it can. And I think they're looking at 2 to 3 years. According to me personally, 2 years may be a little too short a period of time, but well before 2029.
But, you know, the way we are looking at in terms of the timeline, ma'am, because now it seems very clear that it's not going to happen in 2024. Who knows what the political dynamics are in 2024? And if you actually do have that kind of brute majority to push a reform like this in. And, having said that, is it also then passing the buck to 2024? You don't know what comes then. You know, all this effort could go down the drain.
The likelihood of it going down the drain is very little because every party will have to put their weight behind this bill this time. And they will find it extremely difficult to explain to the women of India, regardless of, I mean, especially the ones who are not directly in politics. The ordinary woman who would have expected, again, as I say, more at the state level, where they expect that one day we will also have a chance. Many young women today are very ambitious in this respect, and rightly so. So I don't think it would be that easy to jump the bill, so to say, once it's been passed by both houses of parliament. If it's been passed by one house, like happened in the earlier times, then yes, it's easy. But once both houses of parliament have passed it, it's very difficult for any political party to give any sort of reasoning, any sort of rationale that will be accepted, especially by the women of this country.
Ma'am, I'll ask you two quick questions before I let you go. And my first question is political. I understand, today is a day to celebrate, and it is. It's a huge achievement, like I said. Something which was deemed unnecessary in 47, we've come full circle, and we're actually looking to implement it in 23. But the political question is, which stems from what the opposition says, that you've had brute majority, you're from the BJP since 2014. What stopped the BJP from bringing this bill earlier, and why wait 10 years down the line to actually push something like this?
Look, I think we have brute majority in the Lok Sabha. The Rajya Sabha took us some time. As you know, it's not been the same. I mean, both houses, we were not in majority in both houses right from day one, especially of Mr. Modi's after him being elected in 2014. And also, consensus is not easy to arrive on this bill. It would be a lie on my part to say, especially given the fact that I've worked on women's issues from 1988, long before I came into politics. The opposition to the women's bill has not come just from outside the BJP. There have been many people inside the BJP, and not nearly always the men, but there are also women who don't think that this is the ideal way to go forward to increase women's representation in the government bodies. There has been a lot of problems that women have faced, and we've been fighting for this for well over, I remember, at least 40 years. More than that, because I've had members from my family fight for this. I have seen and I have met people like Aruna Asaf Ali, etc., when my mother used to work with them, from that time, which is more than 50 years, easily. And there was a lot of opposition. So remember that the timing of this bill is fortuitous because Mr. Modi has been very clever about introducing it at a time when he knows he can push it through both houses of parliament.
Fair enough. And, my final question to you, keeping the politics aside, you said that, right from your own family, they've stood in line shoulder to shoulder, women especially, cutting across party lines. Would you take a moment to maybe recount that? We were talking to Margaret Alva a short while ago. She thinks it's historic. The likes and the endeavor of a Sushma Swaraj, a Geeta Mukherjee, a Margaret Alva or a Renuka Chowdhury.
Geeta Mukherjee was incidentally my mother's aunt. So, I mean, it's within my family, there have been many people who have argued for this. My own aunt was Parvati Krishnan. She was also in the CPI. And I mean, on this particular issue, across the board, as you've just said, whether it was Sushma ji, whether it was Geeta Mukherjee, whether it was many other people, I mentioned Aruna Asaf Ali, she's far older than them, but she was also a very senior person and a doyen of the women's movement, as it's called. Everybody stood side by side and there was no politics played.
Right.
You will see many photos where you will see even Brinda Karat standing hand in hand with Sushma ji, etc. Sheila Dikshit. They were all from different parties, but on this one issue, they were united, which is how it should have been. I wish all politics was like that, but unfortunately today it isn't. But on this issue, I'm very happy that across the board, women have supported it, especially the senior women leaders from across all parties.
You're right there. You've taught by example, and I'm sure there's a great sense of pride with your association with the likes of Geeta Mukherjee. We read about her in college, and really the kind of work that she'd put in. Congratulations once again, and we hope to speak with you once this bill is clear. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us.
India's #1 political reporter
defines what seems to be happening, vendetta politics. कोई दूध के से धुला हुआ नहीं है.
Unmatched eye, unmatched experience.
The world has changed. My black hair has become grey as well.
And with unmatched passion for the story.
Do not monopolize the conversation.
When it's 100% news that matters. It's News Today with Rajdeep Sardesai. Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. Only on India Today TV.